Welcome to LaughNapkin. Guys, I just love me a sweet revenge story, and it's been too long since I've done a revenge subreddit. So today I will be reading 3 stories for episode 1 of r/ProRevenge.
Want more stories from your favorite subreddits? Of course you do. Hit that subscribe button and bell for some of the best daily Reddit stories.
Act like a jerk and try to get me fired? Enjoy watching my promotion before you get fired. Background: I work for a communications company. We primarily sell internet-based, all-in-one communication solutions for businesses. I'm in the software development department working as a software tester currently. I've been with the company for a long time, have worked my way up from phone support, and have a ton of knowledge about the company, including policy and culture. I also have a relative who has worked in HR for many years. The story: I had been working as a software tester for about 2 years doing manual testing. Our team was fairly unsupervised as we didn't really have a manager. But the company was expanding quickly, so they hired us a manager. Enter Jay, the a-hole. At first things were fine, he was just learning the company. However, it was odd. He never asked anyone for information. He just said he'd do his own research and spent the first month online reading stuff. Not sure what that taught him about our company specifically though. After the first month, he hit the ground running. He immediately started creating automation tests, adding to the existing testing code, and creating stupid rules that made no sense. He broke tons of stuff and took credit for work that wasn't his. Everyone hated him, and we all referred to him as Stupid Jay. For the most part, we all ignored him. As of this point, no one has specifically said he was our manager. He was just here to help provide direction. Fast forward a few months and everyone on the team wants to quit. No one can stand him. He and I butt heads more so than others because I know he's wrong, and I make my decisions based on the best interests of the customers. He hated that I never get in trouble, but I was hand selected for this position by our CIO. He knows how hard I work. Well, Jay keeps trying to get me in trouble. He finally succeeds. I get a write-up from him that is my final warning. I've never been written up before. I talk to my HR family member, review the company handbook, and I go to HR with my write-up. I fight and I win. I get a warning instead. Jay is livid. He gives me the stink eye for months to follow. Fast forward again, and he's still after me. But I have a family emergency come up, and I have to move out of town. I apply to work from home, and my request is granted. Jay can't stand it. He tries to fight it and convince the company not to let me. However, he's not high enough at the chain to override my approval from a C-level manager. He's running out of time to get me fired. I'm in the office working late daily, planning for my move and finishing up some work to allow me time off for the move. One of the company's policies for our department is that everyone gets to work from home 1 day a week. You pick, as long as it isn't Monday or Friday. People often use this to work from home when sick. Well, I have a medical condition that sometimes requires I take medicine that means I can't drive a car. I emailed the office and let them know I was going to work from home due to being sick. I work for about 30 minutes. Then Jay sends me a message. He tells me that employees are not allowed to pick when they work from home and I need to take the day off and use PTO. I inform him that I've already worked part of the day and can't take PTO. He insists that I stop working immediately, so I do. I then contact HR because I know he's coming after me. I confirm that as a salaried employee, if I work at all in a day, I cannot be required to take PTO. HR confirms. I forward the email to Jay. Once again, I've won the game, and he is so pissed I can see steam coming out of his ears every time he looks at me. The next day I'm back to work. Jay sends me an email with a final write-up with a recommendation for termination because I took an unauthorized day off. What the hell? I immediately forward this email to HR with proof he told me to take the day, a screenshot of all the conversations I had with him about it, and proof I forward the previous HR decision to him. In the email, I also included that I was filing a formal complaint against him for a hostile workplace, targeting, bullying, retaliating, and a violation of my ADA rights. The response is swift, sweet, and awesome. I'm immediately notified by Jay's boss that moving forward, I'll be reporting directly to him. My write-up had been torn up, and I can start working from home immediately prior to my move. Jay is demoted from being manager of the team. He's super pissed. Within 2 weeks, they demoted him from being the manager of the team, and then let him go within a month. Prior to him being fired, I got promoted up a level. I made sure to mention it often in our group chat channels. After I showed his true colors to management, he began treating everyone else worse, as I was now off limits. Complaints rolled in so much that they had to let him go. Serves him right, jerk. Scammers want access to my PC. I turn to tables and start wiping their computer. Background: I got our home phone number long before cell phones were a common thing to have. As things have evolved, that phone number is part of my history and is utilitarian to use for things I don't want ringing on my cell phone, like 99% of anything that requires a phone number for no good reason. So I have kept that phone number alive over the years. Most recently, I moved it a few years back to an online service that charges a tiny amount of money per month to host it for me. I access it via an SIP client on my computer. The story. Because of the nature of the phone number, it randomly rings. If I have time, I'll mess with whoever's calling. Most of the calls are the "your car warranty is about to expire" kind. Some of the calls are about non-existent credit cards. My favorite callers are the scammers. I record all calls that come into this phone number. In my state, only one person needs to know that a call is being recorded, and besides, these scammers are all overseas, so I really don't care about their laws. So when a scammer calls, I tend to answer and play along. Sometimes these calls last a few minutes before they give up on me. Today, I set a new record. A total of 1 hour of their time wasted. The call comes in as normal. I string the guys along. I play dumb. I keep them thinking I'm an easy target. After 40 minutes, I tell them I have to hang up, and could he call me back in an hour? To my surprise, the idiot calls me back. So I decided to see if I can get him to let me connect to him by continuing to play dumb. My plan is based on knowing that they have a handful of tools at their disposal, easiest of which is TeamViewer. So I play along until they get me on a TeamViewer, but I never give them the real information on my end, and I just ask for my partner ID. The idea is that with TeamViewer, you could switch who is showing the screen after you make the initial connection. I know that I have but a precious few seconds of time if I manage to get them to give me their ID and password to make my plan happen. So I have a dummy terminal set aside for all this. I quickly write out my set of commands so I can copy them to my clipboard and launch them as soon as I get connected. Sure enough, they give me their ID and password. I'm ready and I strike. Paste the commands into a run window and let it rip. As I see the window pop up with the command prompt and the deletion of folder starts, the guy starts to stutter and asks, What are you doing, sir?" I keep playing dumb until my connection is terminated. Files have been deleted. The scammer is pissed. He starts to curse at me. I eventually start taunting him and cursing back at him. After a while, he hangs up. Look, I know that they have cloned systems and they'll be back up and running in no time at all. But this wasted an hour of their time, and that's an hour that they can't use to scam someone else. Take my flight home, I'll take your money. Me, DFO, dumb officer, lieutenant colonel. As a new lieutenant in the army a few years back, I was tasked to be a guest observer evaluator at the National Training Center in California. Basically, it's a large desert with small towns for military units to train in before deploying. On day 29, once all the evaluations were complete, I was sent to fly back to Texas and return to my unit. In the observer controller barracks, I was approached by a colonel, DFO. DFO, Lieutenant Bucks, I'm taking your place on the flight back to Fort Blank. Me, sir, you're part of the training unit. All of the observers are leaving on this flight, and my bags have already been sent to the airfield. I don't have any changes of clothes. DFO, you'll be okay for a few days. Officers must innovate to be successful. And innovate I did. When I returned to my post, I was unable to locate my gear, including body armor, computer, cold weather gear, and other like items due to the fact that they flew in 2 days before me on a flight I was kicked off of. I informed my command and they initiated an inquiry called FLIPL, Financial Liability Investigation of Property Loss, in which an investigator is required to determine the reason for lost government property. The investigation officer determined that I was not at fault and that DFO abused his authority to return home earlier. Additionally, since I was left in the training center for over 30 days, I was due additional pay for being away for over a month, which amounted to over $1,000. DFO was found liable for over $7,000 worth of equipment and had to pay for it, which I subsequently found and turned into the Central Issue Facility. I was reissued a new set of kit. I bought myself a nice chair and put the rest into my TSP, government equivalent of a 401k, with the extra temporary duty money, and DFO got reduced to a staff job. Thanks for reading. Well, that about wraps it up. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button and bell. By the way, I just started a Discord server for anyone looking to be part of the LaughNapkin community. Link in the description below. See you next time!